as a designer, that's what you do. Every little detail needs to tie back to a concept or a theme, and I think with this desk it can perform that.
The modern workplace is in constant flux, and the research shows that we had to create something that was adaptable and flexible. This is why we created Byne System.
When you see it, it's very simple. However, the amount of configuration options that you can do is almost infinity, because you can personalize it to someone who's working at that workstation, or you can remove these aspects of the piece, and then it will become like a collab space, which is very diverse in its nature.
From a design perspective, usually you get black, white, and oak. So what's nice about this is you can bring in a lot of colors, you can bring in branding. You know, no one wants just white desks. They want it to be playful, tie into your concept, which a lot of products don't have. So it's actually going to be quite fun designing.
I think the most important part here is that we always sacrifice on something. Let's say we want that functionality in a piece or a product, and then you might sacrifice on the aesthetics of it, but this one has both because of that ability to actually change the base to 5 different Herman Miller models.
There's so many different types of shapes, which I've never seen in a product. So based on, let's say your design is modern, there's a modern leg. If you want to be more nature-inspired, there's a nature-inspired leg. If you want to be a bit more city-centric and bulky, there's a bulkier leg. So, your design now can go all the way into a finer detail of a shape of a leg, which I think is incredible.
The feature that really got highlighted to me was the recessed legs in the middle. So in the center between the desks, you can have a recessed base, which is very good because then if you don't have these screens and the cable tray in the middle, you can have a very long communal table with people sitting everywhere. They don't have legs in between, which is actually very flexible. This is one of the most human-centric systems. Every person on their own desk can customize what they want. I want a shelf, or I want a planter, or I want a toolbar, I want a magnetic board in the screen. So I think it's very dynamic.
And my biggest problem with desks is the corners are quite sharp and you're always walking into it. And I just love the way it curves. It just feels seamless, it feels comfortable. So I think, Herman Miller's thought of the smaller details, which does make big impacts for larger projects. This is perfect because of its adaptability.
I really believe that if an organization starts from boutique and then they want to grow, they can always have that expansion within the system. The finishes last for 12 years, and 12 years on 24 hours, which can even last longer. So this is a very long duration and durability for a product like that.
I can see it's affordable, but the finishes are high-end. So, this table's going to last so many years, and it's going to look great, and it's not going to scratch. And, that's a simple form of sustainability, but that's important. This desking solution, it fits the aesthetics, it fits the functionality, and it's going to last long / sustainability. So, you kind of marked all 3 of those elements.